All right, guys, we're gonna be reacting to James Bray. This video is 37 minutes of confused Americans in Europe. Damn, bro. Damn. We're gonna see react to this. Let me know what you guys think.
Why is trying to order coffee in Europe the hardest thing ever as an American? Can I have a coffee with cream, no sugar?
And they gave you cream.
He starts to put whipped cream in my drink.
Admittedly, I was a confused American in Europe.
This is insane, bro.
And actually, I feel like I had a little bit of an advantage since I did do some research before traveling in that direction. Now, most of my experiences, as you guys can imagine, are going to be related to Germany. I understand Germany is not all of Europe. That's like saying New York is all of the United States, or like saying Texas is all of the United States. I can only really give you my experiences based on where I've gone. Now, the other European countries I've traveled to as well, Belgium and the Netherlands, and I've noticed some similarities between those three places, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. So if you guys hear me make references to my experiences in Europe, those are the three places I'm talking about, and I'm going to continue expanding my knowledge as I travel more and more in the future. You guys have been giving me some good recommendations, but today we're going to be checking out a lot of my fellow Americans that were also just as confused, if not more, when they traveled to Europe for the first time. Some of these people probably lived there for a few years and gave their recollections of what they experienced as far as what was different and what they weren't really comfortable with, what they appreciated more than in the United States. So we're gonna have a lot of that going on. If you guys have any experiences with us Americans out there and stuff, and maybe we were confused or we had some crazy things to tell you guys, let me know in the comments down below. But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and check out this first post, shall we?
Come on.
Since I'm American and live in Norway, people ask me all the time if there's anything that I don't like about living in Europe. Generally, I love living in Europe for so many reasons, but there is one thing I don't like. The one thing I don't like is ice, or the lack of ice that I find in Europe.
This is a complaint I hear from so many Americans that travel to Europe. Now,
What do you mean? That mean complain? I just buy some ice cubes and put it in the fridge, man. I mean, that's
a complaint for me. When I traveled to Europe for the first time, my experiences are going to be related to Germany, since that's where I traveled first, and even Belgium and the Netherlands. Oh my gosh, like they didn't really have that much ice, or ice at all, right, that came with the drink, but I never thought that they needed to. My mentality, and it was something I was taught when I was little, and maybe my uncle was an eccentric thinker, but I remember being a child with my uncle, and we drove through a fast food restaurant. Maybe you guys know of it, Wendy's. And when we went up to the window, we got our meals, but there was something I'll never forget. And it was my uncle asking the cashier to not add any ice to his drink. And he said that's actually a tactic many establishments use so they can preserve resources. Right?
Yeah,
they fill up your
that is
cup to the
correct.
brim
Yeah,
with ice. They pour your drink
they
in.
put you literally half of the cup of ice, right in your cup, and a little bit of of the juice
Afterward. And since ice displaces liquid, you are essentially paying for a quarter of the juice that goes into said cup. The amount of liquid that's in your cup would be the equivalent of like a medium or a small. So that was like a life hack I learned very young. And when I went to Europe, I'm like, oh, they're already all on that. Cause like when I got to these restaurants and I got to these different establishments, whenever you ask for any beverage, there's no ice in it, which is fine. That's actually something I appreciated. I'm like, whoa, they're not trying to rip you off. That's awesome. So I think it's weird for Americans to travel to Europe and they're like, where's my ice? I can't have my drink without my ice. Hear me out. And I know a lot of you guys are probably typing this out as I'm saying all this. The drink is already cold. Why would they serve you a warm drink? It makes no sense. They serve you a drink cold, and it's expected that you'll drink the drink and eat your food in a timely fashion to where your drink won't be warm or hot. But a lot of people are weird about that. Also, I don't want my drink to be diluted, right? Now, if it's water, that's one thing, but still, I don't want my juices or whatever to be diluted. So why would I add ice to any of that?
Good point.
If you've been following me, then you know I don't have a freezer. My fridge doesn't have a freezer. I'm going to show you it, but it's the first time in my life that I have ever had a fridge that did not have a freezer. So my ice cube trays, worthless.
Oh, so okay, my bad.
Countries now. I traveled all over Europe, and I remember when I very first came to Europe, I was in Poland, and I ordered a drink, just like a soda or whatever, and I said, hey, can you bring me a glass with some ice? The dude brought me a glass with 2 ice cubes. 2 ice cubes? What am I gonna do with 2 ice cubes? And he talking about, oh, is that enough? Yeah, it's enough to piss me off. Where's the rest of the ice?
That's what I'm talking about, bro. You don't need no damn ice cubes in your drink. This dude was crashing
I think,
out over
yeah, I think it's more like a placebo effect, though. The ice cube, I think for Americans, is the ice cube give you the illusion that what you're drinking is super cold, right? Super cold. Even though your drink might be cold, but you're like, no, it's not cold because there's no ice. You see what I'm saying? I think that's what it is. It's like a placebo effect.
Cubes, bro, you don't need it. You don't need it. Now, I get it. If you're one of them people that takes a long fucking time to drink your goddamn drink, then maybe you do need ice cubes, and you understand that your stuff is gonna be a little diluted by the time you're done drinking your drink. But that's ridiculous, bro. 2 ice cubes is more than enough, man.
Yeah,
you need to fill that thing up with a crap ton of ice. But
nah. I'm sorry, no. 2 ice cubes will not do it, man. You have, if it is, let's say we're talking about 20 ounces, 16 ounces, you have to at least put 5. Just to start. I don't know about that.
This is a very common complaint. If you go through the internet and look up common complaints Americans have about Europe, one of the #1 complaints is the lack of ice. Again, he's not alone. This is a very common complaint.
Fill the glass up with ice, and then I pour in the drink. That's how that works. Yo, for real, I was like, yo, is there like an ice ration? Do we have to ration ice? Is there not enough water? I mean, give me the ice. I want the ice. And this was a common occurrence. I mean, Czech Republic, Hungary, Lithuania. I was on the lookout, and I was like, okay, hold on.
Another thing I heard about this whole ice debacle, since
that's
we're on
crazy.
The topic of ice is not available in Europe. For as much as I like to brag about like Americans loving to walk around with their water jugs, their big, massive gallon water jugs, most of their water jugs are filled with ice. I forgot about that. The water jugs I normally get are very well insulated, so I don't have to worry about that. However, again, it's personal preference. I'm not a health coach or a health professional. I'm just here to tell y'all what I heard. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. Actually, you tell me, why don't you guys offer ice with
that's a good question
that you guys have out there?
That, hey, I had to give it to James. You know, instead of just going down the road, just keep punching an American, he's asking the right question. He's asking the right question. And this might be because Europeans prefer drinking their water and their drinks room temperature. That might be the reason, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.
Every time I get something, it's got 1 ice cube, 2 ice cubes, or they don't come with ice at all. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, there's nothing I want more when I'm hot and thirsty than a lukewarm cola. Are you kidding me? I never realized how truly blessed I am to have ice when I want to have ice.
Who the hell is serving you a lukewarm cola? Okay, every single establishment I've been to, even the worst establishments I've been to in Europe, were all cold. All of the drinks I got were cold.
Because when you don't have ice, it's crazy. You know, please tell me, am I just being like a pompous American? Because, you know, I get to my apartment.
Yo, James is going hard on these people, man. Yo, just relax, man. You just let them have it, right? Just relax, bro. Like I being around. I travel outside the United States. I'm not a pompous American, right? I've been out the United States, you know, and you know, it's when it comes out to experiences, guys, you have to go with both Zacks, right? Like one for good experiences and good with bad experiences. I mean, you know, the next time you might have to just have the correct wording, and that way people can give you more ice. I'm just keeping it honest. Oh, sometimes you have to be careful what kind of country you need to go to make sure you have your ice, because it's a cultural thing at this point.
And then no freezer, right? Then I went to Haugesund, and I was just over someone's house, and I was like, oh man, you know, can I get a glass of ice? Now they did have a fridge with a proper freezer. They had a proper setup there, and they were like, oh no, I don't have any ice. You have a freezer and you don't have ice? And I have to move out of this apartment next week, and the apartment I'm moving into, you guessed it, no freezer. I just want my drinks to be cold. I mean, am I asking too much, Europe? Am I asking too much? And of course, you can buy ice at the store. But today is Sunday, and all the grocery stores are closed. And then the ones that are open, like the Boone Priest up the street from my house here, it has like a little kiosk type store that's open, and they don't sell ice there. So I have to buy the warm cola, put it in my fridge for whoever knows how long. And when I do buy ice,
Yeah, you have to put it
look
there.
at that.
Oh
It
wow.
melts because it's not in the freezer.
At first, I thought I understood what the issue was,
The lack of ice.
and now I'm understanding what the issue is.
I just want my drinks to be cold.
This man don't refrigerate his drinks like that for real. Like, brother, your fridge does get cold. I know my fridge gets cold. I'm all the way in South Korea. Your fridge gets cold, my boy. So put your beverages in the fridge. It looked like your fridge is empty, so you got space. This seems like a non-problem, but again, he's not alone. This is literally one of the top 5 complaints from
Damn,
Americans.
man. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Okay, rant over. I need to buy a freezer. Oh my gosh.
All right, so let's get into the comments. Our first comment here is interesting. When I visit the States, I have the reverse problem, and now remember to explicitly ask for no ice, as the ice
That's a
cubes
cultural thing,
almost
yeah.
always taste of chlorine, ruining the drink. Oof. See,
Yeah, that's kind of. There we go. See, there we go. There you go.
forgot about that. We do have a lot of chemicals in our water.
Yeah,
I
that's
forgot
true.
about that. But
A lot of
aside from that,
chemicals, not a lot of a lot of estrogen as well.
as much of the drink I paid for as possible. So unless it's water, I don't want ice in my stuff at all. The beverages they serve you at any establishment are already going to be cold. So adding ice to it it's not gonna make it any more cold. It's just gonna prolong how cold it is, and it's gonna dilute whatever
yeah.
beverage you had if it's not water. More ice in your glass means less drink. Duh. And that's what I'm saying. Anyways, let's move on to this next post, shall we?
Why is trying to order coffee in Europe the hardest thing ever as an American? I was in London and Spain, and when I was in London, I was like, can I have a coffee with cream, no sugar? And the barista was not getting it. He was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I was like, you know, like a regular coffee just with cream. We went back and forth trying to figure it out. And she was like, a drip coffee. And I was like, yes, exactly, a drip coffee. And I step aside and I watch her make it, and she's doing everything right. Pouring myself a regular drip coffee. And I watch her try to put the cream on. And I was like, what the hell is she grabbing? This lady literally grabs a bottle of whipped cream.
Did you or did you not ask for cream? Now, hear me out. I understand what she's saying.
Because cream, the way they're thinking about cream is whipped cream. Or the different cream is not heavy cream.
But as a non-coffee drinker, I do drink coffee, but not regularly. Recently I have because I've been editing quite a bit. Generally speaking, I don't really drink coffee like that, much less add creamer into my coffee. I'd say within the last year and a half, I actually found out what creamer was, and I was confused because I thought creamer was like actual cream of some sort, like whipping cream or some kind of cream that went into your iced coffee or something. I'm like, huh? That's weird. But it turns out it's just condensed milk. So
Yep.
in another country, and let's say you assume they understand what you mean by cream, after the first you should probably explain it to them.
Yeah.
There's going to be different terminologies for different things.
It's different terminologies. That's what it is. Every time they go to Puerto Rico, I ask for crema. They don't even understand what I'm trying to tell them. I have to tell them cremola. And then, oh, okay, cremola. And then it's just different.
In this case, it's very straight up. Like you said,
Can I have a coffee with cream, no sugar?
and they gave you cream.
They gave you the
You
cream.
have to put whipped
Yeah,
cream in
he's
it.
right.
No. She's like, what?
And you
said
probably, you know what's
cream. And
crazy?
I'm like, no, I meant milk.
And I'm glad that they didn't give you the cream, but you look for New York, and these people in New York that think that the worst goes around them. So that's that.
I'm so sorry, I'm American. Like, when you say cream, that means like milk, blah, blah, blah. We both started bursting out laughing. Anyway, that was one example. Then, when I'm flying back from Portugal, sitting in first class, and I asked the flight attendant, hey, may I have a coffee? She was like, yeah, sure. Do you want a shot of espresso, or do you want coffee in a bowl? I was like, I'm sorry, in a bowl. And she was like, yeah, you're American. You guys drink coffee in a bowl, right? And I was like, no, girl, no American.
That sound like BS. I'm sorry.
I told her how to make a regular coffee.
I'm sorry. That sound like that. I'm sorry. In my opinion, that sound like it never happened. I'm gonna call it out. This sound like I'm gonna call it out. This sound like she wanted to build content for TikTok. I said it. I said, man, what you guys are gonna do? You guys are gonna do anything. This sounds like she's telling the story to just get some likes and comments on her TikTok. I said it. Said, I don't think that happened. I don't think this happened at all. Probably the London one. Probably something similar, close to it. It was not even a big deal. But hey, I need to make content for TikTok. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of spicy here, sprinkles over here. Put it inside a blender. Make sure I put my eyes on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and put a little bit of, I don't know, sugar, I guess. And bam, I have 2 stories. Really? I don't think that really happened, guys.
Milk.
My opinion.
I ended up getting it and it was good. But like those are just 2 examples of how difficult it is to like order coffee in Europe. But it was like pulling teeth every single time I said that I wanted a coffee in London, Spain, and Portugal. I had a very, very lovely time, but I'm so happy to be back in the States where I can get a big ass cup of iced coffee literally the size of my head.
All right, guys, you know what to do. Light up that comment section. Light up that comment section, because I think genuinely the way people get coffee in the United States is entirely different than how you guys would get it in Europe. Okay, very different experience.
Again, and not only that different experience, and I'm gonna just let James here cook a little bit, but the thing is that the coffee culture in the United States is totally different from the rest of the world. You would say probably we have a commonality with Canada, Australia, and that's it. That's it. Probably you throw in there UK maybe, right? But the way we drink coffee, how we enjoy it, is very different.
The things you should probably look into before you travel. Even though it's not that big of a deal, but it'll avoid situations.
A lot of
like
chocolate
this.
espressos and shit like that, and cappuccinos
because,
over there.
I can understand the confusion on people in Europe's part, right? They're like, you just asked me for cream, I gave you cream. If you wanted milk, why didn't you ask for fucking milk? Communication's key. Okay. God damn it. But before I lose my mind, let's check out the comments. You asked for cream and were confused when you got cream? This is the bullshit we gotta deal with, okay? You asked me for cream, I delivered, and you complain. You got the same people that are making these types of videos turning around and talking about how bad European customer service is. God damn it. Next comment. Why don't you just call milk milk?
Because milk, no. See, because the way we understand milk is very different. See, the way we understand milk is very different. When you mix milk with coffee, it's a different flavor than half and half of cream. It's totally different. I'm telling you because I don't consider myself a professional coffee drinker, but I drink coffee both ways. Heavy cream, and milk. They have total different flavors and textures as well. With the cream, you're looking more to that white or clear color on top of it, and flavor as well. And milk is a little bit more dilute. You dilute the coffee a little bit more, and it still has kind of transparent kind of texture. It's kind of different. I still drink it. It's different. It's not only milk, guys. It's not only milk. I don't know if I'm just giving you this information. It's totally different. You guys can even try it in home. Just get some half and half or coffee and mix them together. Or no, just take 2 different cups of coffee. One mix it with milk and another one mix it with cream, half and half. Totally different.
I was trying to make. Why don't you just call it milk? Anyways, next post. Listen.
What in the hell? Okay, things that shock me as an American who moved to Ireland. Man, you guys are... Number one thing I always talk about, I had 29 paid days of vacation per year. This doesn't even include holidays. The EU requires all workers to get a minimum 20 paid days off per year, but most get more. Wow.
Listen. This first slide is very interesting. 29 days of paid vacation.
That's a lot, man.
Absolutely insane. I genuinely did not realize how much of a problem this was until I saw a ginormous wave of confusion between Americans and Europeans. They're like, wait a minute, how are you always on vacation? Like Americans would say this to Europeans. How are you guys always on vacation? You guys are always kicking back and relaxing. When do you actually work? And then on the flip side, Europeans to Americans would be like, You guys are always working. How do you guys claim you have friends and you can barely see them? How do you guys claim to have relationships with your family and stuff and you can't even see them? It's like you live and breathe and eat work. For what? Like, where's the money going? Can you enjoy the money that you earn?
Yeah, good point.
Because we can't. That's crazy.
Say here, speaking of work, the sick time, never heard of her. You don't need to earn accrued sick time. This is yo, this always that I read this, it pissed me off because what I went through. You see what I'm saying? Those guys, you guys are new to my channel. I went through a couple situations where I needed to just, take a couple days off because my family got sick, even myself. Bro, and I'm telling you, I almost got fired for that, man. Because I didn't have enough accrued time to just get sick leave. Man, if you're sick and can't work, you get paid. Every European I have spoken to is appalled at the American sick time. Yep.
I'm not going to hold you. If you take more than a couple days of sick leave, especially in today's day and age in America, you're going to get fired.
Yep. In the first 6 months of moving to Ireland, I lost almost 50 pounds. And I was going to the gym and eating healthy in the United States, yet my weight wouldn't budge until I stepped foot Europe. And it melted off. You know what's crazy about this? Is so true. Yo, I'm right now. I'm cutting a lot of stuff because it seemed like, man, like it's crazy. She's so true.
Let's get into this.
Yeah.
When I first traveled to, I
Deutschland.
ate so much. Now I'm a big guy, right? For
European
people.
Tell them.
I am
James, tell them you're a big guy, boy. Hey, show them, bro. You look husky, man. Tell them.
192 centimeters, and I'm about 121 kg. So I'm a big ass dude, you feel me? Now, I was heavier than that when I went to Germany for my first time. I was like pushing like 126, 127 kg. However, I remember when I traveled to Germany, I ate probably more than I did usually for the first week, right? And I lost 7 kilograms.
Wow.
7 kilos in 1 week. Stuffing my face stupid, eating junk food, drinking beer. Guess what? 3 things I noticed immediately. I had 0 bloating when I ate the food over there. I don't have any skin issues as is, but my skin was glowing out there. I don't know how. And I lost a bunch of weight. Damn near 14, 15 pounds in 1 week eating as much as I was eating because my body was just not used to having food that was that good for me. The United States, like, oh my gosh, we have so many different chemicals and things in our food. It's wild. This is another point that I wanted to get into as well. I'll just touch on this briefly. Like I mentioned previously, just like a few minutes ago, the same food that I was eating, the junk food in Europe that contributed to my weight loss, was the same food that I would eat and I didn't feel bad. I was expecting my stomach to go acrobatic on me, do backflips, hit splits, all kind of craziness. No, not at all. In fact, when I first heard about traveling around Europe, it did not compute for me. How are these countries in Europe so close? But if you make the analogy, if the United States and Europe were side by side, it'd be the equivalent of you being able to travel from New York to California. Now, granted, traveling from New York to California gonna cost you a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
You probably $700-800 for a
I don't understand why. Yo, you don't have to. Hey, you don't even have to go to California, New York to Minnesota. Not even to Minnesota. Let's just cut it short. Michigan. Let's go Michigan. You're looking at a $900 or $1,000, in season.
plane ticket. But in the same breath, in Europe, pretty much anywhere, it's maybe a couple $100, maybe like 50 to a couple $100. I haven't heard anybody say it was expensive to travel from any part of Europe to another part of Europe, which is very interesting when you think about it. And I was like, dang, it's really like that? I need to live in Europe for a little bit. Now that we've gotten through all of that, let's go ahead and take a look at our comments. I'm thinking of doing the reverse of this, things that shook me after moving back to the States. And I'm telling you right now, we would love to see it. I think a recent thing I've been indulging in, right, within the last like 5-6 months are Americans that travel abroad. It could be anywhere, and then travel back to the United States and
You see that a
make
lot.
videos on reverse culture shocks. To me, that is like peak entertainment because the mind shift that they go through is insane, and it's almost like the exact same awakening that everybody gets.
It's like a little red pill.
And they come back. Now, no hate to the United States, but there's a lot more to the world than the United States, and the United States right now is kind of cooked. There's a lot going on, and we're like, come on, man. But seeing the world for what it is, very, very vast. So many different cultures, so many different perspectives and ways of life. It will change you. It will literally change you as a person if you indulge in traveling. Issues that you think are massive issues are non-issues. You become less full of yourself for sure, because you have to be mindful.
Yeah, your ego, you get your ego checked a little bit.
How you behave, and you'll just figure out that you have to be mindful. Like initially, you know, some people may ignore your behavior, but if you travel enough, you'll find that you will be very much inconvenienced if you continue behaving in a way that is disrespectful to the locals, and especially if you're not aware of your surroundings and whatnot. I'll put it this way, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but I'm pretty sure you guys can tell the difference between an American that is well-traveled and an American that's not.
100%.
Entirely different mindsets.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm very curious to hear you guys'
100%. Americans tend to be very loud. Not all of them, and you don't have to travel even to do that. For certain demographic in the United States, tend to be loud. Doesn't matter where they go, and doesn't matter where they go, they still the same.
Stories or takes
Still act
on
the
that
same.
in the comments down below. The weight loss is so real.
Yeah.
Similar situation here in the Netherlands. I'm telling you, hey, for my Americans watching this video, if you're trying to lose that weight, you've been struggling to lose that little 20 to 50 pounds, you need to take your goofy butt on over to Europe. You know what I'm saying? You can eat whatever you want, do whatever you want. And
I'm not sure about that. I think you might get better food, but you know you have to track your calories. I don't eat a little bit more, I guess, and see how it goes. But don't get too crazy, right? Don't get crazy.
Because I promise you, they have a way more active lifestyle out there than we do in the
True,
United States.
true. It might be that, too.
So I'm telling you, that's the way to go. That's the way, and you'll feel so much better. There was a video I saw a while ago of this lady that traveled to Europe, and not only did she lose weight, but she said her acne was completely eradicated, her bloating was completely gone, and she genuinely felt incredible. But when she traveled back to the States, she made another
I believe
video
that.
on a reverse culture shock she experienced.
I believe that.
And she realized that the bloating she was experiencing and the acne that returned and the hormonal imbalances and stuff like that, whatever, had everything to do with the food she was eating in the United States versus the food she was eating in Europe. So that's a very real thing. I don't think people understand that until they get to experience it firsthand. In fact, I have an interesting question for my European viewers watching this right now. Have you traveled to the United States? And I know we got some good food out there. We do have some delicious food. It might not be the healthiest, but we got some good food out there.
I have to agree with him. I have to agree with him. We have some great food over here, but at the same time, so good. It's very unhealthy. Chinese food is here. It's very good, guys. Chinese food here is very good, but do not eat that every day if you want to keep yourself alive. You can't do it. You can't do it. It tastes very good, but you can't do it.
Body's reaction to the food that we had in the United States. Let me know in the comments down below. Any kind of food, dessert, or any other food type in America if you've traveled out to the United States before.
She goes too fast, man.
To the United States before.
3 realizations I have moving back to the United States after living in Europe for 4 years. We are told in the United States that time off of work is a privilege and sometimes something to be earned over years of being dedicated to a company. That 2 or even 3 weeks of vacation is great. The mindset toward this is totally different in Europe. Time off is seen as an absolute right. The European Union requires all full-time workers to get 20 paid days off minimum per year. Most people have even more. Wow.
Yep, this is a very true statement. In this post, I actually made a video that you guys have probably seen a few weeks ago. And there was a CEO of a company that this lady was applying to, and he was saying that if you want to excel in the company and have even a micro shot at being promoted, time off is not a thing at all.
You know what's crazy?
Bare minimum.
Yo, he's true. In the last company that I was working for, man, I'm telling you, if I wanted to get some promotion, I couldn't get one time off throughout the entire year, guys. I'm not making this stuff up. You wanted a promotion, I couldn't get one time off throughout the entire year. Just to be a candidate. Just to be a candidate. That is so true, guys.
Working 40 hours a week, but everybody works like 50 to 80 hours a week. And I'm like, huh? And time off for that company was a sign of laziness. That's actually a very common mentality in a lot of corporate America. That is a thing. Not sure how often you guys have heard of that, but yeah, time off. If you take time off, people are gonna look at you like you're a slacker. And it's very unfortunate.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, sure. We're such an individualistic society in the United States in so many ways. Most of the time we have a not my problem mindset. We don't prioritize taking care of each other. Furthermore, we don't look at being social as a crucial aspect of well-being. Spending time with friends, family, or being social is looked as an essential in many European countries. While living in Europe, I would see friends multiple times a week. In the United States, I'm lucky if I see friends once a month. Let me just be quiet here, man. I just really listen. Yes and no. Yes and no. Both countries are individualistic. They're European countries. They're individualistic. Individualism comes from the Enlightenment. Period. During the end of the 17th century, the beginning of the 18th century. I don't think this is not. How can I say this? I don't think this has to do with the United States, guys. Truly, this is not nothing to do with the United States, because a lot of people that move to Europe, they feel the same way. You see what I'm saying? They feel like this is very individualistic, right? I think it has to do with personality and the individual itself. If somebody comes to the United States, they probably will say the same thing. Oh man, this is very good. In Europe, it's very individualistic. It happens all the time. I don't think this is a more like a perspective, a personal experience, I will say. Right. Now, where things change, and I do believe this is a huge problem that we have here in the United States, it's the time off. Even though you're earning these points, you're not assured, right? You can earn all the points that you want, but you're not even entitled. You're not entitled, because if you wanted to take time off, you can. The company can literally deny you time off. So it's just literally like a little privilege that they gave you, but then at the same time, you're in the mercy of the CEO or the company or of HR. But I don't think the individualism or the collectivism mindset stuff, I don't think it has to do with one or the other. I don't think so. I don't see it. Because I don't see it. I simply don't see it.
This is a very interesting observation I've heard a few times. And I think it's interesting because I've heard mixed opinions on this. For the most part, this is very accurate.
Yeah, I told you.
Grind set is the mindset. And America, we are all about ourselves. We're very individualistic. That is very true. The way that the system is set up is everybody has to grind to get their piece, right? You have to grind to provide for your family, friends, whatever. But then the companies that you're working under to provide, right, milk the hell out of you. I've never resonated with the term working like a dog until I got into the workforce. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I understand what they're talking about. It is very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And because of that, you do see a larger amount of Americans that are out of touch with their families, out of touch with their friends the older they get, because of course they are acquiring more jobs, they're accelerating in their work and whatnot. And because they're accelerating in their work, they have to work more, they have to work longer hours. That's more time away from their families and friends, and it is unfortunate.
The family unit is constantly being preached about in the United States, yet barely any support is given to them. The United States is the only first world country that doesn't guarantee paid maternity leave. Listen, guys. It doesn't guarantee it. Again, if you enter the workforce, they guarantee 8 to 12 weeks. If you stay for a year, they guarantee the entire year. I think it is. Something like that. But a person is saying this without having kids and living in Europe. I mean, we suck in a lot of things, guys. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like, what is this all about? Like, women are giving so much care and maternity leave. What about men? What about men? I had my kids and I didn't have maternity leave. Not even, a lady gave birth in the company that I'm working for. She came in the same time that I was in. They gave me maternity leave right away. It was 12 weeks maternity leave. Bam. I didn't get none, bro. I didn't get none. So this thing about women, no. Are we gonna do this equality thing? We have to do it, men and women. See, this is where she's losing me right here in the last statement. Women are given so much more to care and maternity leave in Europe. Paternity leave is becoming quite normal as well. The cost of childcare is also less. See, I don't know. I understand her concern, but at the same time, the fact that she's selling only women, I don't like that. See, I don't like that. I think men and women should have the same amount of maternity leave. I'm sorry. I'm that guy, yes. I'm a real feminist. I'm a real feminist, guys. A real one. She get maternity leave, men get paternity leave. The same time, the same amount. That's me.
Yeah, America's in turmoil when it comes to this topic, man. We have a lot of people in the United States, a lot of politicians that preach about the family values, the value of, raising a family, having as many kids as possible, no matter what, right? And yet, the same people in power in the government are not offering any aid for the people who are having these children and these families and whatnot. It's literally a liability to have a family in this day and age, with the economy being the way it is, the job opportunities being what they are right now currently, and the cost of everything right now in the United States alone. It is not worth it to have a family. So let's get into these comments. This first comment here is real as fuck, as it says, we can't see our friends during the week because we're working 11-hour days. That is the reality we live in. I will say, I did watch a clip from Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he made a very good point. Like, America has a lot of really cool things about it, right? One of the biggest things I always preach is, despite all of our problems, right? All of our issues. We have a bunch of issues in America. But still, I would even venture to say to this day, with what's happening, it still is a place where people can build themselves an incredible amount of wealth from nothing. From nothing. If you play your cards the right way, you absolutely can. And it's interesting. It's very interesting. Now, we make shit tons of mistakes, and there are a lot of things we have not gotten right, but I do think that is one thing I can say to this day that still remains to be true. But this next comment, sorry about that.
No, what happened?
That still remains to be true. But this next comment.
Oh, bro, come on.
Say to this day that still remains to be true. But this next comment.
The camera
Sorry
died.
about that. Camera died, so small time skip there. But our comment here says, as French, I would feel so empty without the emotional intimacy I share with my friends. I can't imagine my life without it. And I definitely can understand that sentiment. But for some reason, I guess America's society is designed to butcher and destroy close relationships. Unless you've found a very unique balance where you're able to work at a point where it's not too overwhelming, which is very
hard,
very privileged and damn near impossible.
Very
you
hard.
balance your family life to some degree. Next post.
What took me away too long to get used in Italy. In Italy, their vino goes well with everything, obviously. So please don't make a scene when you get a glass with your breakfast. I guess so.
Now, this is something I can get behind. For those that don't know, preferably, I definitely do like wine over every other type of remote alcoholic beverage. I just like the way it tastes. And so,
You like me, yeah, me too.
It was a reason to have it for breakfast. Oh my goodness. Yum, yum, yum. I did not know that there were certain wines you can pair with breakfast, but come to think of it, there are wines you can pair with literally every meal and different types of foods and whatnot. So for my wine drinkers in the comment section, what is your favorite wine and why? Let me know in the comments down below. I favor dessert wine right now, but I also love dry red wine. Let me know.
Dry red wine,
what you guys' tastes are, so I can go ahead and expand my palate.
Napping from 1 to 3 is mandatory here. No, but really, no, but really, cities get empty. Man, just learn to write English, man. Golly. Napping from 1 to 3 p.m. is mandatory here. No, but really, cities get empty during those hours. So try to be less nosy. I don't know why you're even reading a book. You don't even know how to write English. My goodness, man. No, but really. What? Get empty during those hours, so try to be less noisy. Yeah, of course. I'm being a hater. It's just these type of Americans just so cringy, man. I'm sorry, guys. They're just so cringy, bro. They talking good about Europe. Just by them talking good about Europe, they make Europe look bad somehow. I don't know why. I just simply don't know how, man. These people are just, man, so full of themselves, man. They're so full of themselves. I'm sorry, guys. I had to say it. I just have to say it. I've been to Europe. Europe is gorgeous, guys. Gorgeous. But I don't have to do this, man. I really don't have to. Let me just show you some coffee. I don't have to do this, guys. Truly, guys. I don't have to do this. This is so...
As we've mentioned before, the siestas in Italy are insane. 1 to 3 p.m. is exactly what I was told.
I remember when I was in
like?
Italy, that siesta thing, they took it so serious. I remember just walking around between 1 to 3 or 4 o'clock, and everything was empty. I was the only one just walking around. I'm like, okay, I guess this siesta thing's real here.
Like for my peoples that live in Italy, like what do you do in that time period? Do you take a nap? Do you genuinely go and talk to family?
See a lot of people taking naps.
What do you do?
Speedy walker. Italians know how to enjoy the slow life, but they can't stand people in a hurry here. So embrace your inner grandma pace to avoid those stairs. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay,
guys.
this is real different because Germany is the complete opposite.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
when it comes to this theory.
Yeah, like I just don't understand, man. These are you guys have to be very careful with a lot of posts of foreign Americans when they go to Europe. They can say certain things just to make the experience look more than it was or way too much kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like they can be full of themselves. They could be, they can just share their experience and be too full of themselves. And remember, Americans, these type of Americans, they're just competing for clout in social media, guys. They're just competing with clout. A lot of these places are beautiful, but at the same time, it's like not all Europe's like that, guys. Probably it's a little bit slower in Italy, in Greece, and Spain, but then you go to Belgium and Germany, it might be a little, like move out of the way kind of thing. Like this, you know what I'm saying? Like You have to be very careful. It's just
I think Germany, people want you to get to where you're trying to get to in a
Yeah.
hurry for the most part.
Yeah.
Italy seems like the other end of the spectrum
Yeah.
of chill. Like everybody's like relax, lay back, chillax, don't do too much. Just genuinely enjoy your surroundings and don't move too much. I walk very fast in general, but I didn't think I'd be judged for it. Another interesting take. I never even thought to look at it that way. Again, this is another ideology where you can just sit and genuinely enjoy your surroundings, and I'm here for it.
with all that tasty pasta and pizza, they had to master those. Learn that the Sicilian way to always have that runaway looks is color. I don't know, guys.
So this is my first time ever hearing about
Yeah.
colostrum. I don't even know what that is, but
Me
I guess
neither.
I'm gonna start taking that.
It has to be either raw or organic. I have tried plenty, but this one really clicked for me. Literally makes me feel so much slimmer. Oh my god. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm at that point right now, guys. It's not about Europe. I love Europe. Europe's great. It's just these Americans are just so. Oh man, I'm having a hard time here, guys. I'm home 47 minutes just reacting to this. This is just. I feel so much slimmer. Get the hell out of here, man. For real, just get the hell out of here. Oh man, I just don't like these people. Ah.
Miracle Moo. How do y'all feel about that?
This one basic but had to be said. Cappuccino just a breakfast drink. Oh, never order it after 12 a.m. because it's a big no-no here. But in Italy it is, but not in Bulgaria where I was. Cappuccino was everywhere. So probably in Italy it is, right? Like, hey, don't order cappuccino, just like regular coffee, which is very cheap, by the way. Yeah, the coffee in Italy is very cheap. Damn, look at that. That looks very good. But at the same time, you go to Bulgaria, all of those Eastern European countries inside the European Union, you're getting coffee, cappuccinos, and vending machines.
All right, this last one right here is interesting. I did not know this. I have freshly entered the coffee scene. I didn't know cappuccinos were breakfast coffees.
Me neither.
I didn't
That's
know
interesting.
what
I
the
never-
difference between a cappuccino or Americano was. I know what the difference between an espresso and them things are, but I don't know. But let's go ahead and take a look at these comments. There is no way to ethically collect colostrum, by the way. Would not recommend drinking it. All colostrum that is collected directly contributes to animal cruelty. Interesting comment. 12 a.m.
There we go. See, I'm telling you. Some Americans are just full of it.
So yeah, that comment was interesting. She said if you order a coffee after 12 a.m. then you'll
Yeah, 12 a.m. Right, it's midnight.
get some crazy stares. If you order a cappuccino after 12
You're
a.m.,
crazy.
I think she
Yeah,
meant 12
you're crazy.
p.m., but still, either way, is that really a thing in Italy? If you order a cappuccino after 12 p.m., people look at you weird. I could see that being a thing, but I didn't know that.
And I said, just go get a vasectomy. Anyway, so we're going around the islands on that tour, you know.
Eating in silence because Americans here are dinner with us.
Tour, and we missed the cruise by 5 minutes. Oh, there you are. Hey, you guys got any espresso martinis?
Nothing really needs to be said about this one besides the fact that we are very entertaining. I'm a loud individual. I have been
I have to
about
listen.
this one besides
Yo,
the
I
fact
have to
that
listen
we
to that again.
Espresso martini tour, and we missed. I said, just go get a vasectomy. Anyway, so
I have to
see
listen to
being a
that
thing,
one
but
again.
I didn't know that.
and I said, just go get a vasectomy. Anyway, so we're going around the islands on that tour, you know, the tour, and we missed the cruise by 5 minutes. Oh, there you are. Hey, you guys got any espresso martinis?
Nothing really needs to be
Yo,
said
that-
about
that was
this one
crazy.
besides the fact that we are very entertaining. I'm a loud individual. I have been very loud in public before, and I'm pretty sure I put on a masterpiece of a performance in front of a lot of people at some point in time. I've become very, very, very aware of my volume since then,
Yeah.
because I do know that people are listening, and it is very interesting. Also, to add to that, I also find it very interesting being here in Korea. Now, for those that are new to my channel, a large portion of what you'll see on my channel is me obsessing over Germany. I love Germany, love the country. I'm trying to learn how to speak German a lot better than I can now.
Me too, man. Hey, you know what's crazy?
And
I have to say this. Since I've been reacting to a lot of German content, I had to admit that a lot of things from my lifestyle has changed. A lot of things, guys. And thankfully, it's because I'm being associated with this type of content. So I really appreciate this. Even though I already love you guys. I'm a classical musician, so I'm more into the classical music stuff, you know? But, you know, from making the bread, you know, to be more cautious of certain things like the water. You know, so there's a lot of things. Even you're learning German, like, there's a lot of things. Some of you guys were saying, man, your German pronunciation is top level. Like, it's not top level, but it's sounding better. But that's thanks to you guys.
that leads me into a tiny story time. I went to an aquarium here in Korea, and there were some German tourists, and I was like, you know, sitting down admiring like the, you know, fish and whatnot, and they were talking about like a couple that was on the other side of me, and I was like, oh my gosh. It was kind of weird being able to understand everything they were saying, but they were like playfully cracking jokes. They weren't really being mean, and in my head the entire time is like, whoa, this is like a new special ability. Like, I can hear German and English and understand it. That's insane to me. But I'm in Korea, so I should be learning more Korean.
Same thing, 20 things that trigger Americans. Paying for water.
This is like up there on the top of the list of things that trigger Americans, man. Paying for water, that got me all the way messed up. Now, I heard about it before I went to Germany, but what I'm hearing unanimously from you guys is you don't have to pay for tap water, but sparkling water is a standard in Europe. It feels like it's a standard, so you do have to pay for water, meaning sparkling water.
Sparkling water.
You have to specifically request tap water. That's the difference between Europe and the United States.
Eating pizza with a fork and a knife. Is that European? Really, I eat mine with fork and a knife. Am I? Actually, you know what's crazy? Back in Puerto Rico, that's how we used to eat it. And I still eat mine. When I make my own pizza, by the way, I make my own pizza. Thank you. Thanks to you guys. Since I learned how to make sourdough bread, hey, my pizza is sourdough bread with not the Parmesan. Very Italian-y. Very Italian-y. You know what I'm saying? Very Italiani with the la pepperoni and the mozzarella. Very good, actually, by the way. And man, I eat pizza bread. I don't feel that thing. I'm telling you, me and my family, my wife loves how I make my pizza. But bro, when we make the Sicilian pizza because we don't have the rounded thingy, so I have to make it Sicilian, right? But bro, when it's very hot, I don't fold it. I just eat it with a fork. So at this point, it might be like a 50-50.
You can eat it with your hands, okay? Especially for how thin the pizza is
in
Italy. All right, it is thin. I think that's just meant to be a hand food. I always think it's so cursed when I see people eat pizza with a fork and knife. Like, hey, yo, what?
No, but it all depends. It all depends. If you're eating like a dollar slice pizza for New York, you just fold and eat it. But sometimes, like for me, my pizza is very hot. It's extremely hot, guys. So I just prefer just to grab a fork and a knife and just eat it.
What the fuck? Okay, I can get with this. The water bottle with the caps stuck on was kind of annoying, but it's like a very, very minor inconvenience, so I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. But I think that was a recent change within the last, like, what, 4 or 5 years? I do think this is very dependent on...
This is, let me see. Small portion size. Depends. I don't know what she's talking about. When I was in Italy, the portions were okay. Also, when I was in Austria for a little bit, and the portions were okay. In Bulgaria, the portions were okay. The coffee was the only thing that I was like, oh man, this is very small. But at the same time, it was very cheap. It cost me like a 50 cent, 50. I don't know how you say it, like 50 cents, euros. I don't know.
I do think this is very dependent on where you're at in Europe. Small portion sizes, that was not what I experienced in Germany.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Go in. Yes. Let's go. All in. Everything. Yeah.
I could cry. This is so good. This is so good. This is so good. The onions, the crunchiness of like the flakes and stuff on top.
Yeah.
And whatever
That's
the
Bavaria.
is in here.
That's
Fire.
Bavaria.
The cheese, bro.
Right?
The cheese.
Wasn't what I experienced in the Netherlands, and definitely was not what I experienced in Belgium. So now, are the portion sizes smaller than America? Again, that just depends on where you eat.
Yeah,
at,
that's very
because
different.
for the most part, I felt like I got a lot of food for what I paid.
No ice.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
bro. When are we gonna let this no ice thing go, bro? I beat that into the ground.
No,
ice.
James.
I'm not- we
They're
gonna have to let
correct.
that
No,
one go.
no, they're correct. It's a cultural shock. Yeah, they're telling you from the cultural shock. See, as an American, they travel abroad. Oh, this is my cultural shock. There's no ice. They're okay. No, they're right. They're right. No refrigerating
Now,
eggs.
the non-refrigerated eggs, that was something that never really bothered me. I never questioned it, but the way that the eggs are pasteurized or the lack thereof has everything to do with how they turn out. And I'm all for the eggs not being refrigerated. I just like them being
well,
cold.
that's mostly if. Okay, so a lot of people in the United States, they still in certain areas, they still. If you buy eggs in supermarket here in the United States, you have to keep it in the fridge. But if you buy eggs locally, it's recommended to just leave them outside. You see what I'm saying? So it's more like a 50-50. But if you buy, compared to Europe, eggs in Europe, you don't need to put them in the fridge. See? In the United States, yes. See?
I'm like a creature of habit. Even though when I get my eggs now, they're not refrigerated, I buy them and they're not refrigerated, and the first place I put them is in the fridge, mainly to save space.
Well,
I don't think this is a problem. I think in America we do the same thing, but instead of wine, it's usually a beer.
Rocky Road. Oh, I love those. Yo, I love those.
Definitely messed me up a little bit, not gonna lie. I walked a bunch in Germany. Cobblestone was everywhere. My
Beautiful,
feet hurt
man.
a lot. But I was also getting like 30,000 to 60,000 steps in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that's okay. Now let's talk about that's what contributes to you losing more weight, because you put in more effort in walking. Because when you're in nature, think about this, guys. When you're in nature, right? Let's say, let's go. Even in the United States, 1,300 years ago, there was no roads, man. There was no flat roads. You had to walk in very uncomfortable places. So therefore, your body will just burn more calories. It makes sense. It makes sense why they keep it like that. It's more it's healthier.
Every single day.
Warm beer.
The fuck do you mean warm beer?
No elevator.
Okay, that was a little different too. Elevator.
No elevator? Really? I don't.
Are hit or miss in Europe from what I've seen. Like, some buildings will have them, most places don't really. You'll have escalators and walls, but then in apartment buildings, it's stairs. Actually, every single apartment building that had multiple floors only had stairs. Now, out of, let's say, there were a bunch of friends I wanted to visit that lived in apartment buildings. So let's say if I visited 30 different apartments, there were probably 2 apartments that had elevators.
Not having a dryer.
This one was interesting too, not having a dryer. Now, I understand why Europeans look fresher than most Americans, because your stuff doesn't look dingy and faded and whatnot. When you dry your clothes, you preserve the colors and material.
And my mom used to do it like that. I remember. I used to pick up the clothes right before raining. My mom used to do them outside. And actually, the sun, when the sun hit the clothes, actually it's healthy because it kills certain things in the clothes. It's a healthy way.
Of your laundry. Unfortunately, I damage my clothes and I dry them all the time with a dryer.
Yeah, look at that. My shirt got messed up.
This one is based. Okay, every American going over to Europe has encountered this at least once. The customer is not always right.
Yeah.
And in America, you're trained to understand that the customer is always right. In Europe, everybody gets paid a good wage. So don't you think for a split second that you can talk to the people that work at any establishment crazy.
Only being able to get fresh produce that is in season.
This is cool.
That's pretty cool.
I actually do like this a lot. Only being able
I like that as well.
to get fresh produce that's in season, I'm in full support of that.
Coffee, nah.
Now this, I did not know. Cafes don't have to-go coffee? Where? Every place I've been to in Europe had to-go coffee.
When I was in Tuscany, that's true. I was in Tuscany, you needed to just drink your coffee right there and there, and that's it. Outside of that, you cooked. That's what happened with me. I mean, unless you were in London. London, you could, or the airport, I guess. But for me, even in Bulgaria, I had to go to the vending machine just to get a cappuccino. But I think that's more like an American thing. See, that's Americans, we just love too much coffee, I think.
Though, if you're going to a cafe, you want to sit down and enjoy your coffee.
Smoking, yeah. Smoking is something that you guys do a lot. So.
All right, this one is interesting. Y'all be smoking like it's the 50s, okay? I saw damn near, okay, Korea, I understand. There's a pollution problem here. If you travel around and you see a gray haze over everything, it's because pollution that is being produced in Korea and the yellow dust coming from China combined, it makes for very unhealthy levels of pollution. But in Germany, although the air is very clean, in Europe in general, the air is very clean. Yeah, y'all smoke like it's the 1950s out there. I mean, half the people, just use the vapes, which is cool. But then a lot of you guys just prefer classic
old school,
cigarettes or cigars, and I'm like, God dang.
But you know what's crazy? I'm just in the United States. There's a trend now for a lot of men to just smoke cigars, but not cigarettes, which is very interesting.
Okay, the big open windows, you do have those in the United States with safety features because we're dumb. Okay, I don't understand how neutral colors would trigger Americans. I think you guys are used to seeing us wearing bright, poppy, wild colors, which is what I do for sure. But neutral colors to me just screams very professional, very well kept, and that's great.
Not using paper and napkin.
This one had me messed up a little bit. You guys.
I'm sorry. I need to have my paper and napkins. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I need to have my napkins, my papers. I'm sorry. I like to just keep myself clean. Well, if you're eating, just make sure you have a thick napkin. I'll go with that. I'll go with that. If I'm eating, you have 2 napkins, very nice and thick. I'll go with that. I'll give you that.
Using paper napkins, you guys use cloth. I'm like, oh
yeah, the claw is fine.
Oh my God, like you don't.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the claw is fine as long as it feels good when you clean it. It's fine.
Just throw your napkins away when you're done. You keep them because they're cloth. Oh Lord. Hey, look, one thing I did love about Europe, to this day, is the simple menus. I love it. You don't have to have 1,000 options. I actually don't like the fact that a lot of menus in America, we have
too much.
Too many options. Like, pick a specialty and stick to it.
Yeah.
Right, so let's get to these comments. Okay, I'm from Europe, not the UK, and some of these things I personally don't like, or we don't do here either.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking. Because I'm like, there's no way that all of these apply to every European country.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I said. In a lot of these, you see, when Americans do stuff like that, they're just literally just playing to the stereotype. The Americans don't know what they're talking about. They're just playing right into it because they want to be. I understand they want to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna say a comment that is good for Europe, but at the same time, you're being disingenuous, and Europeans can pick up on that. Say they can pick up on that.
Apply to some of the European countries, but not every one of them, right? So which ones apply to where you're from and which ones are not applicable? And
the same for me. Let me know in the comment section below which one applies to mine's German, Austrian, some of these places. Let me know what you guys think, man. Let me know what you guys think. I personally think that a lot of these, when it comes down to a lot of Americans going to Europe and being disingenuous, I just simply don't, and too much for them too, man. Like, extravagant, TikTok-y kind of, man, I cannot. I don't know, man. I just simply, I'm sorry, guys. I cannot. My body's not built for that. For fake people, you know what I'm saying? It's not built for that. And I'm glad that, videos like James and all the, content creators are exposing that reality. A lot of Americans are full of themselves, I guess. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, guys. I would love to hear you guys' opinions. I will see you in the next one.